Hey guys, we've just been at the rescue centre filming with the most beautiful dog, Barney. Unfortunately, our audio is not great. We had a bit of a technical issue and I'm really sorry about that. But we really wanted to show you the work we've been doing with Barney because we think there's loads of things you'll be able to take away from it. So I'm going to hand over to Will and show you what we're doing with Barney.
And welcome back to Fenrir, guys. And today we have a really fun case. We're back at one of the rescue centres that I volunteer at. And we have got an absolutely beautiful dog. Now, when I was asked to work with this dog, I was under the impression that it was a German Shepherd. Now, I don't think it is a German Shepherd. I'm going to speak to some of my colleagues and friends. I think there might be maybe some kind of Tibetan Mastiffy, a Strela mountain dog, a few different bits in there. You'll see, obviously, when he turns around, that I don't think he's full Shepherd, whether he's cross or... we don't know, but... really sad story about this boy. He was tied up, abandoned, and the police were called out to him to pick him up, and he's ended and found himself here at the shelter. So we're just going to do kind of a basic temperament assessment today, and we're going to try and find out exactly where his head's at, if we've got any issues, anything that we need to work through, and then if there's anything I can do to really tune him up to give him the best chance of getting rehomed as quickly as possible, but most importantly to keep him off the euthanasia table, which is why we do what we do here. So we managed to get him leaded up quite quickly and effectively. One of the first things often is whether we can go in and actually get the dog, and obviously sometimes you can't even get into the kennel because they're so reactive, so aggressive, so dangerous. The fact that we were able to go in, we were able to get a lead on him straight away, so that's good, positive signs. There's not overly any kind of human aggression straight off the bat I need to be aware of. Definitely pulling is a significant problem that we're going to address. No engagement whatsoever this kind of whole time I've been stood here, even if I can get him moving with me. He'll kind of follow a little bit of lead pressure, but he's not necessarily engaging with me and wanting to look up to me for guidance and direction, which is understandable. We have no idea what happened to him before he got tied up to that fence. And I need to kind of earn that relationship with him by coming in and instilling some leadership. We walked him down to this little kind of training paddock that we've got access to here at this shelter, and you'll see that when we walk past some of the dogs, there wasn't really any dog-to-dog reactivity, which was lovely. So all I want to do really is I want to get him working, I want to build some engagement, I want to test his drives, see whether he's food motivated, whether he's toy motivated. How can I get that engagement onto me as quickly and as efficiently as possible? Whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to be constantly assessing the situation, assessing his temperament and assessing what he needs to work on. I think what would be really nice for a dog of this size to help him get rehomed as quickly as possible will be for him to walk nicely. So we're going to tune that up as quickly as possible. But also if we could teach him a really good place command. Now, we're probably not going to get that done in this session today, but just from his general demeanour and his temperament, this isn't a death row case in terms of him potentially being put down today, so we should be able to have time to get a couple of sessions in before he gets actively pursued to be rehomed. So got a feeling this is going to be a fun one, so we'll dive into it. So as always, and you'll be noticing a trend, one of the first things I do with any dog is what I call my tune-up, and I want to get that engagement. This drill, I think, based on his general demeanour and the fact that I've not got any significant concerns, he hasn't been jumping up me. His pulling is bad and he's very strong, but I think that we're going to only really need to be able to use a slip lead. We have got other tools if we need them, and for more severe cases we might dip our hand into the bag. I'm hoping that we can do everything we need to do with Big Boy here with just a slip lead. Isn't that right? And again, you can see he's friendly. I've not got any concerns about having to correct any aggression. So what I want to do from this session now, and obviously I need to give him some of my undivided attention though, is we're going to move to the slip lead. I'm going to do my engagement tune up, and then I'm going to see what drives him. I've got some food in one pocket, I've got a toy in another pocket, and we're just going to see if we can kind of get him having a bit of fun, see what really gets his kind of motor going, if at all, because some dogs don't kind of have any drive whatsoever. Especially the fact that I think he's got some livestock guardian in him as opposed to pure German Shepherd would suggest that he's quite independent, confident, probably not overly driven to kind of work with a handler. But I just want to get that engagement onto me and see what the crack is. So then we'll start with toy. Let's see if we can kind of get his attention with a toy drive. Again, we're not doing anything special here. Yes, good, good. What I'd like to do is if I can get him toy driven, yes, then I can also test any resource guarding type behaviours as to how he will now guard that toy if I try and take that off him. Clearly not overly bothered. Again, I'm always cautious in these situations. You might see in some of the old episodes of the Rescue Diaries how quickly a dog can turn and redirect with a bite. So you'll see me doing lots of this because I'm getting ready. Always loose lead, but I'm getting ready to control the variable should he ever redirect and try and attack me, which does happen more often than you'd think. So again, I want to see him seeing that I'm standing over the toy. How's he responding to me claiming this toy? Good, happy demeanour, ears look good, tail looks good. He seems quite happy for me to claim this. He's not trying to guard it at all. Again, give him the option. Now let's see if he'll let me claim this. Yes, good, brilliant. So that's a real good tick in his box in terms of resource guarding. We'll do some similar tests with food a little bit later on. What we've learnt there though is you can get his attention with a toy, but he's not really bothered by it. So let's see if we can get any kind of drive in terms of food. So I'm just going to get his attention. And let's see if he's interested. How old are you, big boy? No, not overly. A little bit of beef there, and he's completely ignored me. So that does really lean and suggest to me that we might have some kind of like livestock guarding dog in here. The fact that he's not overly toy driven, which if it was pure German Shepherd, I would be shocked for it not being toy driven, not overly food driven. And just looking at him, the more I'm looking at him, I'm thinking it's German Shepherd cross with some kind of livestock guardian breed, which is making a lot of sense to me. Right then, so very, very quickly I'm able to come in and just through assessing his body language, through his general demeanour, I don't think we have any overly things to cause us any concern. He's allowing me to touch him, there's no grumbling when I'm touching him anywhere. Again, there's a lot of dogs that won't like this, but he seems to quite like a bit of physical praise. He's not toy driven, he's not food driven. He seems to quite like a rustle behind the ear though. So you'll see me, as we're working now, a lot of the praise will probably be vocal inflection and physical interaction with him. We'll be praising any desired behaviours. As always, it's one of them situations. A dog that's food driven is really easier to work with. A dog that's toy driven is easier to work with. A dog that's neither toy nor food driven is a bit more difficult. And then what do you do? Well, as always, you fall back to leadership, engagement, and that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to start working on my kind of engagement tune-up drill that you've seen me do lots, but you see how I do it with a real big, powerful breed like this, and try and get that engagement, that focus, and most importantly, as I always preach, about him starting to look up to me for guidance and direction. So what will probably happen, there'll be some minor bits of lead pressure, and then how he responds to that lead pressure will be a real eye-opener, as well as to kind of what kind of home and owner would be suitable for him to go to in the future. So I'll try and comment as I do it. Let's go. Let's go. Good. Let's go. Good. Very good. We're not getting any kind of... Let's go. Yes. Good. Let's go. We're not getting any kind of worries about redirection. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, better, yes. No praise there. Let's go. Let's go. Every time he marches past, I'm doing a directional change. And this is all, look at this, already loads better. Let's go. So giving him a little correction. You've got to listen to me when I'm telling you we're going somewhere. We'll look at the difference already. For a few repetitions, without working with one finger. Let's go. Better. I want to make that a little bit sharper. Focus on me. But look at the difference now. Just from coming in and instilling a little bit of leadership, guidance and direction. Now this is where you press. Let's go. Good. Beautiful. Good, beautiful. Thank you. So you saw me praising there because he looked up at me. Now even though he's out in front of me, we'll tidy this up. The fact that he gave me that little glance, that little check up, is exactly what I'm looking for. And even though it's not perfect heel, we've been doing this for 20, 30 seconds. And like I say, what I want is for you to look up to me for guidance and direction. So you're going to see me do a real obvious one here. I'm going to give him the opportunity to listen to me vocally. If he doesn't, a little bit of pressure is going to come on just to bring it back, and as soon as that attention comes to me, the pressure shuts off. So this will be a lovely, let's go. Yes, good. Yes, good. Yes, good. Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Good. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. Yes. Now engaging with me. Yes. Good. Oh, you're a good boy. That's what I want to see. Yes. Good boy. Yes. Good. Engage with me, and everything in the world is what you can have every positive thing you've ever wanted. If he was food driven, that's where I'd be paying it. If he was toy driven, that's where I'd be paying it. He's not, so I'm going to use more vocal inflection and physical praise. But I'm just going to reward. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Anytime you look up to me, engage with. Yes. You're going to get praised. And this very, very smart German Shepherd brain that's tucked away in there. Yes! Good. See, he's working it out. Now, you'll notice that a right-hand turn gives him more of an opportunity to go, which is good in some circumstances because it allows me to correct it easily, to let him know, quick, pay attention. Left-hand turns allow me to cut him off and let him know that he really needs to like constantly be watching me to let him know where it is. Now again, we talk about this a lot with guard dog breeds. We've now come to a nice stop and I've planted my flag. I'm in control, calm, consistent leadership, and I plant my flag here to let him know I'm in charge. Now it's always interesting with a guard dog breed, especially these very natural, what I think is some inherent livestock guardian type behaviours as opposed to purely German Shepherd. Purely German Shepherd, I'd really start to pull this into a heel and I'd start to want eye contact and I'd build it from more of a engagement and obedience perspective. For a breed like this or for a Mastiff, I'm quite happy for you doing this. Do your thing, you keep an eye out for me, but let me know if there's any issues, but I'm still in charge and control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through some of those different directional changes. And it's one of those things now, a pure German Shepherd would find a right-hand directional turn much easier because you can make a game out of it. You can pay it with food and toys. A natural guardian breed that's more independent, more confident, that isn't inclined to work with a handler is going to be scouting off and they'll find it more difficult, which is why we then very quickly started to add in left-hand and right-hand turns. So this will be a classic example. If I do, let's go. So this would be a right hand, so he's responding really nicely to it. I'm going to pull him in. But we do a right hand, let's go. So he's now starting to respond nicely. That's a right hand turn. But now if we start adding in some left hand, so you see I'm cutting across it. Beautiful. So this is what's really helping us with our kind of loose lead to my left hand side, because he's understanding when I can't go past, because he might take a turn at any second, and he has to be in tune with this. Once you start layering on that engagement, everything else is easy. So that is going to pretty much conclude session number one. So what we've done there is we've just done a few very basic drills. We've tested drive, we've worked out we haven't really got any toy drive, we haven't got any over food drive, but he does like a nice bit of physical praise, don't you, big boy? Yes, yeah, you enjoy that. So whenever I want to let him know he's done something good, I'm going to give him a bit of physical praise. I'm going to let him know that he needs to kind of focus on me, and when we come to a stop, I'm starting to guide him into this position. And then I'm planting my flag just to really ooze that kind of positive, assertive leadership. We've tested some resource guarding and I'm really happy that there isn't much resource guarding, if any, so that's a massive positive for us for his rehoming plans. He seems like a beautiful boy with a lovely temperament. Why someone would tie him up for a fence and leave him, I've got no idea, but as is the world, unfortunately. And I would like to have got another 10-15 minutes in, but as you can see, it's red hot. I wouldn't want to be wearing this coat in this weather, so I want to make sure he can go and have some water. I'm not sure, obviously, if someone would tie him up to a fence, I can't imagine they were the kind of people that probably worked him and exercised him loads. So this was probably quite a lot for him, but it's told me everything I need to know. I can go and report back and be like, look, we've got a really solid dog to work with here. Now, what I want to carry on doing is we've achieved massive success with heel walking. So as you saw when we first put his lead on, he was dragging me everywhere. And now if we wrap this up just with a nice little walk straight away, again, we can tune this up and make it nicer. But the difference straight away in a potential owner, someone that would want to rehome this, to be able to walk him like this, as opposed to walking him how he was being walked, could be the difference between him being rehomed and him not being rehomed. So again, we're kind of single finger walking already. We'll tighten this up, we'll work on it in future sessions, but we've made massive progress with that in a really short session. And as you can see, he's definitely getting tired, so I want to go and let him have a rest, give him some water. next session that we'll film with you, I would like to get that heel walking really sharp, really nice, and I'd like to teach him a place command. Just a dog this big, this strong, this powerful, to when you have guests come into your home, he will be reactive, he will sound an alarm, he's a guardian breed, that's absolutely fine, but to give a potential owner this dog who has got a lovely temperament, aren't you, big boy? You are a good lad. Yeah, he's a lovely dog, but to give them this dog with the ability to walk it nicely and to be able to send it to a place when somebody comes, it'll be a dog, place, stay. If we can give them that with heel walking, I don't think we're going to have any issue whatsoever rehoming this boy. Isn't that right, mate? Are you a good lad? Yes. Are you a big softie? What did those people do to you, eh? We'll make sure we find you a good home though. Good lad. So that's that, and we'll see you on the next episode of Fenrir Canine Training.